My best friend is a royal asshole who likes to send me crap just to piss me off, so thanks, Aiden. And don't you lot encourage her, I know what you like. So against my better judgment, we're going to take a look at a clip here with Destiny, where he talks a whole lot of sheer bollocks. Now, for the record, Destiny has been on our podcast. He was pretty amicable. I hold no ill towards him as a person. His positions, however, again, are complete bollocks. Now, one thing I will say about myself, despite having a giant ego, I know I am not the smartest person around, and I have no problem admitting someone else is smarter than I am, because I gain nothing by saying I'm wiser than another person, and they prove the assertion to be false. I look like an idiot. I'd be the architect of my own humiliation. It's a level of stupidity I can't even comprehend, really. However, one thing I am very confident in is my ability to spot the snake oil, the peddlers of bullshittery. Destiny is good at obfuscation. He is a skilled orator. I dare say some will even accuse him of the act of sophistry. He's the kind of bloke that idiots think is clever because he's good at wordplay. I, on the other hand, remain unimpressed, especially when he says crap like this.
So when a conservative walks in and like, what is a woman? Like there's like some concrete definitive answer.
There is. Woman, human born with the genitals that facilitate the birthing process. This covers a child yet to hit puberty and a woman who has hit menopause. Flawless answer, clean headshot, Mr. Perfect utensil, I am, next point, move on.
Gender is very, very, very complicated.
No, it isn't. See previous definition. And shut up with the difference between sex and gender, you turgid slime.
When you say one word, there's a bunch of peripheral things that kind of like light up next to that word.
There might be, but that doesn't mean those peripheral words, as you claim again, wordplay bullshittery, will have any meaning or add anything. And you'll see what I mean.
But to define a word exactly is very challenging.
No, it isn't. I just did. And I did it with effortless expertise, I might add, because it is concrete. What you idiots are doing now is trying to define womanhood via politics, not biology, and that is why you all come off like pompous shitheads.
When I say chair, a whole bunch of things come to mind immediately.
I don't know about all of you, but when you say chair, I picture a chair. Moving on.
Maybe the color brown, maybe wood, maybe 4 legs. There's a whole bunch of things. But if I try to say like exactly what is a chair, any and all of these things could theoretically be up for debate.
Not in this context, there won't be, no. As a matter of fact, all those things you just mentioned are construction materials or descriptions of a chair's appearance, but we're still no closer to finding out what a chair actually is.
Like, is a beanbag chair a chair?
Yes.
Is a chair with 3 legs a chair? Obviously. What about a chair with no back? For instance, if I say chair and I say table, there's a lot of the same concepts light up, right? So broadly speaking, that's how we view language.
Case and point. You know, I hate this because he hasn't actually said anything. He's just mumbled a whole bunch of shit. Notice in this piss poor example, again, we're still no closer to knowing what a chair actually fucking is. What is the primary function of a chair? Seating. So a piano stool, a bar stool, a deck chair, a lounge chair, a sofa, a bench, even a beanbag chair, yes, are all still types of chairs. Why? Because the primary function is still seating. Whether it's backless, has 4 legs, the height is made of metal, wood, or plastic, or the type of fabric used, those are just designs. Again, the function is still seating.
When Matt Walsh asks him, what is a woman? Jordan Peterson's answer is relatively insightful. He says things like, well, maybe you'd have a better chance looking at temperament than like genitals, or temperament rather than gender.
Very strange example to use because temperament is rather broad. You can have a woman that has a temperament similar to a bloke, or a bloke that has a similar temperament to a woman. It's not a good metric in my opinion, but if you're gonna shoot for this majority variable as a means to denote male or female, you know what men and women both have in common? They have their own sets of genitals. Why do we use that one?
And I think at the very end, he says, I don't even know if he knows it's as insightful as it was when he said it. I think he said, if you want to know what a woman is, why don't you go out and marry one and find out or something?
Am I the only one that thinks that isn't insightful at all? It's just a tongue-in-cheek funny comeback? It's essentially a higher brow version of go to the field and try and milk a bull. It's basically that.
Which is actually how we do explore language. You go out into the world, you associate concepts with things, and that's how it goes.
Yeah, that's how we explore language, but that's not what you twats are doing with this gender crap. You're exploring how much language can be used to propagandize the population into submission, into believing political bullshittery, and that's all there really is to it. No more, no less. All of these concepts of gender non-conforming, non-binary, all of that is bullshit. It has no basis in reality whatsoever, and anyone who's telling you otherwise is a propagandized lemming trying to blow smoke up your ass. People need to have the stones to simply go, no, I'm not going to swallow this academic pseudoscience like bullshit, piss off. This is an anti-human cult and these people are cultists. They are insane.
So in that sense, the film is interesting in that like Jordan Peterson does actually give way more nuanced responses than I would have thought. But I hate the topic because it brushes over so many really complicated aspects of how language and ontology and categories are used and constructed and how they exist, just to try to like own trans people.
No, and I've said this before, the fact that the film was made to begin with is a sign our society is incredibly stupid, incredibly gullible, and for whatever reason don't have the cojones to call out insanely stupid things for fear they would be called a label that most of them don't even understand. And that doesn't even freaking mean anything to begin with either. The backlash is not a phobia, it's not driven by fear, it's driven by revulsion and disgust. Far as I can tell, the only thing that turns tolerance into acceptance is a complete lack of any morality. That's a good quote, I should remember that.
Which I think is really dumb. I think you can be like pro or against trans people, but like at the very least like treat like language with the due respect it has. But
oh, get lost, what rubbish. Language doesn't deserve any respect, it's a tool, much like any weapon. What matters is the arsehole or the soldier using it and why. You don't respect the tool, the grace and balance is in the wielder, not the weapon.
yeah, that was
It's a good answer. Yeah, I actually think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Hey, look, we have an example of two idiots impressed by such bollocking non-answers. This is ridiculous, so I'm forced to ask, what do we learn from this? Aside from the fact that comparing the concept of women to chairs is inadequate if I'm being generous and just flat out retarded if I'm being brutally honest. Nothing. Not a damn thing. And those two lemmings at the end there are dumber than a box of broken bloody doorknobs. And that is all for today, and once again, I apologize for nothing.